TVOT, why are my shows filled with mean girls? Plus, UFOs and the best lines from Cooking with Paris. With all these endings, let's start something. How about this week's TVOT? Smells like teen dispirit. I'm not sure when it happened, but it was at some point between catching up on Gossip Girl, watching the latest episode of White Lotus, and continuing to glacially make my way through the new season of Never Have I Ever that I had a realization: if I was a teen girl right now, I'd be annoyed. If the aforementioned shows are to be believed, all teen girls are social media bullies, faux-woke hypocrites, and downright mean to other people for the pure pleasure of bragging that they have 2 boyfriends. Young ladies, I think you need to hear this blatantly from at least one person who's been where you are. You deserve better. This is where I admit that while I don't regularly cross paths with any teen girls, aside from the occasional cordial way that my neighbor who walks her white fluffy dog while I walk my white fluffy dog, but roughly 180 moons ago, I was a teen girl. The early aughts was a tough time to be a teenage girl watching television because it didn't feel like anyone making TV shows understood what it was really like to actually be one. I thought that if my lineup was any indication, I was the only freak my age not in love triangle, getting into alcohol-fueled car wrecks, dealing with a clique of over-lip lust queen wannabes, or navigating an unwanted pregnancy. Was I a boring teen? Absolutely. But when the best and most empowering representation of a girl your own age that TV can provide is written by a now problematic man and leaves you wishing vampires were real so you could slay them, too, that's sad. Now, Maitreyi Ramakrishnan, star of Never Have I Ever, has acknowledged that not everyone's going to relate to her show or chaos-driven, two-timer character, and that's okay, she told Teen Vogue. Which is fair and true. The beautiful thing is that in your real life, you get to decide who you want to be, and it doesn't have to come from TV.
Watch the skies. The robust UFO curious industry has been flying high since the government began declassifying certain material, adding to the tantalizing reality that some sightings that simply cannot be explained. UFO, a new multi-part docuseries on Showtime premiering August 8, taps into that fascination, while focusing on the extent to which witnesses have been dismissed, diminished, and belittled. Produced by, among others, director J.J. Abrams, the project begins with the New York Times reporting in 2017 that pulled back the curtain a bit on government study of the issue. UFO includes an interview with former Senator Harry Reid, who was instrumental in bringing much of what has been reported in the last few years into the public eye. With UFOs, nothing is ever black and white, says author John Greenewald Jr. UFO probably won't change many hearts or minds, but it's an intriguing exploration of the gray area in between. Hit and run TV. Lowry also drives in an important point on a new series from Netflix that you may see appear in your queue this weekend if your algorithm sees fit. He writes, "If you're in the market for an Israeli/US thriller where nobody is who they appear to be, Netflix's Hit and Run might be for you." The show begins with a seemingly innocent tragedy, as an Israeli tour guide loses his American-born wife in a hit-and-run accident. But the story spins wildly into lots of cloak and dagger stuff thereafter, from Tel Aviv to New York. It's certainly binge-able, with a Israeli cast that includes Sana Layden as a U.S. reporter who eventually gets involved, but be forewarned, the 9 episodes leave room for more. So if you're wary about committing to another one of these international vehicles that Netflix is using to fill its showroom of originals, your mileage may vary. Say what? I struggled with what to say about Paris Hilton's new cooking show on Netflix because I'm very sensitive to what she's been through as the original influencer. I don't like laughing at people, but since she's made it clear that she's laughing with us this time, I think I can bring you this collection of best lines with no guilt.
Before we eat, a prayer, Netflix, bless this mess. Paris, in a grocery store, excuse me, sir. What do chives look like? Paris, with 3 phones in her hand, where are my other phones? I have 2 more. Demi Lovato, reading a recipe, zest of 1 lemon. What's a zest? Is that the top of it? Paris, zest. I know what a zest is. I actually had no idea what a zest was earlier, but I learned because I went to our friend Google. Paris, speaking to a dog, do you want some caviar? Paris, after dousing herself in a spray, I needed a perfume break. Kathy Hilton, to Paris, honey, you're getting your feathers in everything. Finally. Nikki Hilton, walking into her sister's home for dinner, just what you need, another picture of yourself. Silver screen goes for gold.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe,